I'm the one and only MVP fighting out of London Shoot Fighters. I say it's weird to have a place like this where we beat each other up, you know what I mean? Like people injure each other and stuff, obviously not intentionally, cracking on each other and stuff, but we're tight more than other people. Other people, you can say one thing wrong about somebody out there and it's like, oh my God, it's the biggest deal in the world. And in here, this is why I love being in the gym. It's completely like, and there's so many different backgrounds, so many different cultures, so many different, all in one place, and there's no issues. You know what I mean? And we're beating each other up. We're the ones out there that's seen upon as we're aggressive, and you know what I mean? And yeah, in here, seriously, it's just so peaceful, man. Like, it's just, you just always want to be in the gym. That's why I say, like, training-wise, there's no need to, even when you finished your fight, you don't necessarily even want time off. You see guys that will fight on Saturday and they're back in here on Mondays because they enjoy being in here. Obviously, the learning side of it as well is just the bonus. But like everyone's so cool, man. You get so many people. Like even I had a couple camera guys come in. Was it last week? And they said, they've been to a couple of gyms where it's a bit, they're on edge all the time. People don't like cameras around here, and they just kind of they kind of used to being shouted at, and I don't know that you guys experience, but they kind of feel like they're on edge. But in here, it's like. Obviously my coach is probably the only one that's kind of like, he doesn't really like being on camera and stuff. So he's the only one that's kind of like, but everyone else is like, chill. Me personally, definitely, I've always been like that. And obviously there's certain guys in here that still struggle with that side of it. And I think that's a different experience. Where I've done so much competition from 5 up till now, is just accustomed to people looking and being under some sort of pressure when you're fighting to win, and then just getting used to just being in that kind of making that pressure feel like home, so it doesn't feel like pressure anymore. So for me personally, I think it's more my experience, and obviously everyone else has to kind of learn that. But I think it does help that you got a kind of that friendly environment. I think it helps for your learning. It helps for your wanting to learn as well. Like I say, you come here, you just want to be here, and then you just absorb everything. Everyone's just cool with each other. And people, if you're new here, you're like, oh man, we'll help you out. Like, oh no, change that. If you do this properly, you can do that. And anybody that comes in here with an ego loses it very quickly. Like, as much as we're cool, if somebody tries to change that energy in here, you got a lot of lions that are going to be like, 1 second. And you spend a little bit of time in that cage, and all of a sudden you're friendly again. So we force everybody into our way of, there's no egos, there's no this. And some people do come in either nervous, so they might give off a different energy, and then they soon realize that you can relax, you can have fun, you can smile, you can take the piss out of yourself. It's not, no one cares. It's not that serious. You know what I mean? But that's why I like it here. I've never really thought of it as pressure. Like, I'm so confident going into this fight. Of course, anything can happen, and I can't be ignorant to how much of an amazing athlete he is. But I'm so confident in what I'm going to do in this fight. I just don't see it. I'm out here to prove stuff to me, and yeah, I think obviously I've seen myself winning. I've seen myself landing certain shots and him falling over, and how it makes everybody that's following me feel. And then I always go through the negative side, like, the what ifs, but I do that to get it out of the way. Because I think it's something, if you kind of hang on to those thoughts, it might creep in during a fight or coming up to the fight and knock your confidence. So try and get it out. Yeah, what if he beats me? What if it's not that bad, it's not the end of the world, it sucks, because I know what I'm capable of. And it's going to be a long journey back to getting myself back to that recognition and blah, 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 blah. It's not the end of the world, though. I'm still getting to do what I love, still to do what I enjoy. I'm still in an amazing place. I've met so many people through this, for the sport. It's not the end of the world. Okay, back to, I'm going to kick his ass, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Cool. All the what ifs are gone now. I'm seriously, this fight, even the way I'm feeling of recently, the spars that I've had of recently, I'm like, I'm going out there to hurt someone, like, bad. and just like I said, prove to me first and foremost, because I know what I did wrong in that last fight. So prove to me, and then the world will see the rest. You know what I mean? But yeah, no pressure really. Just enjoyment. To be fair, the only thing I find that is probably naturally better is if I'm in nice water.
I do that. Then again, this motherfucker, they ask for like £1 for 2 kilos of ice. Man.
I know.
Ice, water, £2. Yeah.
You do any Wim Hof breathing in there?
Yeah, I do.
You know what? Yeah. A lot of the guys have been doing it
nose.
and stuff. I'm trying to kind of get you like look into it more and do more of it. But I hear a lot of good things.
I just can't breathe through my nose. Yeah. It's a bit, man. Yeah.
You can hear about it, how he talks.
When I breathe, it's horrible. I'm like, when I sleep, I'm like, yeah, ask any. Oh, Felix. Felix, do you like going on?
After his fights, don't talk, bro. Just
Yeah.
that's it. We'll get a translator.
So, wait. For Felix's fight, I went to corner him, and he actually got another room for me to sleep in, just because he can't sleep with me.
That's not.
Yeah, he's the only person who can sleep in the same room as me.
I'll go out. Normally I'll get the extra room, but I'm not fussed. Thing is, I think that's like big. Like I'm used to big families and that.
Yeah.
So you have a big family, like noise is nothing.
It's a good point.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But him.
Alfie,
That's a whole family in one.
Even Alfie, when I had a fight, and Alfie came to corner me. It was the same fucking thing. He just like, I woke up and his two pillows around his head like this. He's fuming. Couldn't sleep, yeah.
I've always been quite fascinated with movement, from dancing to obviously incorporating into different sports. So even from a young age, I've done trampolining, I've done gymnastics, cricket, football, basketball, just everything. And then I feel movement, just the coordination that you build, learning and understanding movement, helps with, obviously for me, what I'm doing in terms of the martial arts, because you have so many, I feel you have more directions accessible to you, whereas a lot of people can be a bit more predictable, and because obviously we all learn very similar movements, and without the incorporation and understanding of the different angles, you rarely move into those spaces. A quick one to kind of relate to, so people can kind of have a visual, is in boxing. Again, boxing, everyone learns roughly the same. You get different styles, more to do with like guards and how you kind of hold your stance. But then you got a guy like Vasily Lomachenko, who does dance. He did dance. His dad forced him to do dance, ballet. Yeah. He does ice hockey, all these different things. He learned how to wrestle. He can wrestle as well. And you see how he frustrates people just based on his foot movement. He's not like he's not a powerhouse in terms of punching, but he's made people quit multiple times purely on frustration. And the angles that he takes and how he's able to get behind opponents is based on the fact that the understanding of movement and understanding there's multiple directions that you can kind of access. So I feel even for my style, again, kind of working on the same kind of thing. I've frustrated many people because they're not able to hit me, even when they feel like they've got a shot. I'm still able to evade because I've got more directions accessible to me. So for me, that's why movement is so important. I feel like it can elevate your game in so many different ways.
Yeah. And you see like that a little bit with as well. I was going to use the Lomachenko example, but like the 10th Planet Freaks, you know what I mean? Boogie and his brother, they're all break dancers.
And the thing, like you said, straight away, they're all learning the same thing. They're all learning the same moves, but how they deliver the move makes it that much better.
Yeah.
Because they've added different things that are not necessarily within our sport, or they're open to understanding just movement full stop from other sports or from other different whatever it is. And I think that's important.
Definitely. There's a lot of parallels. I know we've touched upon this before with like music and dancing. Like, how important is it for you to be surrounded by music?
Oh, I love it, man. Like, music is I'd say, for me anyway, from when I was young, like the first, I think I don't know how old I was still a baby, but I actually first hummed Michael Jackson Bad as a baby. I just sat there like, My mum was like, what the hell's going on? So I know music's always been massively important to me. I think it's very influential. So if you put on a certain track, it can hype you up, it can bring you down, it can put you in a certain state of mind. So music is so important to me. And understanding what different tracks and different songs bring out of me helps as well. And it just allows me, I feel like I'm at my most relaxed when I'm dancing, listening to music. So music is like it just does everything. If there could be a track playing while I was fighting, I'd be 10 times better than I am.
That's interesting.
Yeah, actually, I seriously love it. And even in the gym, it's so funny. I was trying to think how long ago this was. It wasn't even that long ago. A track started playing, and I started singing and dancing while I was like sparring. But it was just at the end of the round, and I can't remember who I was sparring. I think it might be like Shipman or someone. And as the track played and I started dancing, time went, and Shipman's like ran out of the cage. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Mate, you started dancing. I'm not playing that." He's like, "I know what you are like when you're listening to music and you're dancing, having fun." He's like, "I want out." So yeah, I know if I could have music playing as well, man, that'd be a problem. But yeah, it's definitely it just puts me in the right state of mind going into a fight.
Yeah.
And this is why my changing room, as you've been there before, our changing room is just hype, man. It's like we're in a rave. It feels like we're celebrating a fight already, and this is before I've even gone into the fight. So I'm feeling that music is massively important to me. See, like I said, obviously over the years of learning and incorporating different sports and different influences, like I said, like light dance, because I used to do break dance when I was younger. That incorporated with the style I learned being freestyle kickboxing. And if I was to take anybody down to a freestyle kickboxing event, competition, everybody from the kids right the way up to the adults, you'd be like, oh wow, they all fight like MVP. So everyone fights with a similar style, their hands are down, everyone's got maybe slightly altered guards, and obviously they might use different techniques. So kicking is very big in our sport. I wasn't massively into the kicking to the level that a lot of these other guys were in, but I could kick this in the same way. But everybody there fights like me. The difference is I add my experience with other sports and my coordination and then my own flavor and style to that, and then that makes MVP. But again, straight correlation, everyone's seen Raymond Daniels, also in Bellator. He's basically another version of me, but southpaw, and a lot of the Americans fought southpaw more than they did orthodox, which was different to the UK guys, or the European guys, should I say, because they favored kicking, so they put their power leg in front, and the majority of their backgrounds was more taekwondo, whereas our background was more either kung fu or karate, and a lot of them would tell you to put your power hand at the back. So it's just, although we ended up in the same style, we just kind of derived from different original martial arts. But yeah, we all fight very similar, you know what I mean? So my style comes from somewhere, I just add my flavor in it and just make it me.
We were doing basically got a whole feature about showmanship, so who better to have than Michael Venom Page in the house. So we're watching old Ali clips, old Prince Nazim clips, things like that, just asking him where his whole fascination with the showman side of things came from. You know, and it's a big thing to do, right? Like, if everyone could do it, they all would, but you have to put yourself out there. Like, you know, that's what I was saying to him, after making so many viral moments, what's it like to be on the opposite end, the one with Lima? And it's like water off a duck's back, because he's just so used to it. He's like, this is what happens when I fight, you know, one way or the other. And I always think that people completely misconstrue what happened in the first fight with Lima anyway. MVP was doing savage work in the first round. Even when he was taken down, he stayed completely safe. He rocks Lima early in the second, and then the knockout comes in a weird freak moment. It's not on the ground and it's not standing up, it's in between. And yeah, I feel like it's a really competitive fight, and I wouldn't rule out an MVP victory. In fact, I think I actually have him winning this fight. I think he gets the knockout. I think he gets the job done, and finally people might start giving him the respect he deserves, because this whole can crusher thing is bullshit at this stage. Twice against Lima, Daly, Anderson as well. Man, he's great. It was great to speak to him.
When does
Beautiful
it come out?
I'd say on fight week we'll certainly have one feature out. We're hoping to get 2 out of it. So maybe one set up for straight after the fight, after he goes and makes a huge name for himself again.
Nice, like it. And that's all on MMA on Point.
MMA on Point.
So cupping is almost like the inverse of a massage, right? With massage, you push the muscles. What we're doing is we're pulling them up, right? So we're pulling the tissue away from the bone, away from the skin, away from the muscle. And what that's doing is it's giving the body room, yeah? So, better blood flow, more room, better blood flow, more room, better lymph flow, more room, better fascial movement. And that's just going to encourage better habits of movement when the muscles engage, essentially. Obviously, then you have blood flow, which heals the body. Everything's in blood. And then you've got a warming effect as well, because you're using the heat. So everything's just kind of relaxing down, pulling out spasms, decompressing everything. Ready? So essentially, that's why I'm using orange needles, and I'll make my point, you know. So what we're doing here is, he stumped his toe a little bit, and we're just going to encourage a bit of blood flow into the joint itself. You can't watch. That's it, no more. We're encouraging blood flow into the joint itself. If I move it too much, it might aggravate it, so I'm just going to do some very nice light needling. It has the same effect, half as painful apart from when you put the needles in. And we're just going to leave it there for a few minutes, and your body's going to react because it's got a foreign object in the body. All the good healing stuff, all the white blood cells and everything, they're all going to just focus here for a few minutes. And yeah, then we're going to mobilize it afterwards, so it's nice and loose.
Everybody gets with Shh. Uncle Mike is gonna win the fight. Uncle Mike is gonna win the fight. Uncle Mike is gonna win the fight.
I'm saying, like, all of us are like stylish, like all that. It's just in our blood to do this stuff, yeah. Oh shite! That is long. See that traffic?
Yeah.
Hell no. Hell no to that. One of the other things, actually, I'm wanting to try and, I've got a chef called Chef Colin Brown, who's an absolutely amazing chef. Trying to get the first Michelin star Caribbean restaurant in London. So I'm speaking to a few investors soon regarding that. To be fair, I've been speaking to them, but I got a big meeting next week, and another guy that's very interested as well.
That sounds so
try and make that,
exciting.
yeah, that one there is that's close to home, because it's something like, again, obviously Caribbean is my blood, but I'm tired of the representation that we have of Caribbean restaurants. Although the food is good, you'll never see the food being displayed anywhere where it's high end. It's all kind of like you got to go to this area, back street, this, that, and you get good food, but just bad service.
Yeah.
All the typical kind of thing that comes with it. Attitude, bad service, or slow service, should I say? So I'm trying to kind of change all of that. So that's another project I'm working on. I got quite a few different things.
When I was in the Caribbean, the food was just unreal, mate.
It's
The
unbelievable,
vegetables,
isn't it?
I'd
It's just the
never
way
even-
they season it up, man.
Yeah.
It's seriously. I went to I went to Colin's house, and I swear to you, I kept bringing out food, and I was just like, I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna die so happy. He just like he was showing us all the different dishes that he's looking to do for the restaurant, because we branded his stuff, so we because he kind of had no idea of how he would want to do it. So myself and my business partner Yinka, we literally just kind of thought about a few ideas, got it together, branded it up. Like, he loves it. And so you can kind of see the vision. And my friend's also an architect, so he actually put together what it would actually look like in the restaurant, and he's just like mind blown. But now we're obviously looking for investors to actually
Put it into place.
to put it into action. So but yeah, so just give it that. It's especially in we got a friend in Dubai that was interested in it, but I want to start it in London first.
Can you just talk to me a little bit about what your coaches mean to you and how they inspire you?
Oh man, to be fair, that was probably the most important part of me actually going over into MMA, is, and even because for me, I've come from, it's a family sport. So I started in the martial arts, I started in Lao Gar Kung Fu, and then went into kind of kickboxing. But the only reason I was doing it is because my dad was my instructor, my mum used to do it. My uncle on my mum's side was my dad's instructor. Cousins fought, still fight, just like all of that. So that was just close to home. It meant a lot. Do you know what I mean? That was just the reason why I can stay doing it right the way through, because it was just a family thing. So obviously then later on started taking it really seriously, doing really well in the kickboxing, then wanted to leave the sport. But this is why I say, when you got a good coach, they genuinely know what's best for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not them. And when I told my dad at the time that I wanted to go into mixed martial arts, he was like, cool, but you're gonna have to find someone that can help you in that area, because I can't help you in that area. Whereas a lot of people still want to try and be next to you and always,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's like, this is where I kind of, obviously I always give you general advice, and because he knows me, blah blah blah. But he's like, this is where you leave me. You have to find somebody that's gonna do that for you.
Like, his love for you is bigger than his ego.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And a lot of coaches nowadays have egos, and they have their own platforms, and they're all trying to sell themselves and so it's difficult. So finding the right person that is gonna be on that level I was like, that's probably gonna be next to impossible, or very difficult. I went to, so I was just like, let me just go to where I think probably the best place is. And I was like, at the time when I started, being in America made more sense. Like, it's like, yeah, the Americans are the ones doing the best, so gotta go over there. So I kind of gone over there. Like I said, my sister and my two older brothers live in Florida. Went over to stay. I was like, cool, I'm gonna stay with them. I'm gonna go train at American Top Team that was local to my sister's gym. Sorry, to my sister's house. I kind of had it set, like I'm just gonna go there, regardless of the coaching and blah blah blah. My good friend Marvin, he was kind of like, you should look in London. Like, you should always just in case, you might find something. You might not. It doesn't really matter then. So I was like, cool. Went to a load of gyms around in London. Didn't really like them. Kind of went to one, like, went to another one. I didn't like it. Went to another one, didn't like it. I think it was more because my mind was set on America as well, so it's hard to even enjoy anywhere else. You're like coming in from the rain, like looking in the gym and like just sweaty and smelly. You're like, yeah, I'm going to America. And then he told me about one in called London Shoot Fighters. Went down there, and for some reason, when I walked in there, you could just hear sense, like the coaches, that everything the coaches were saying, the gym, that was amazing as well. Everything the coaches were saying was like, yeah, you could just hear was on point. And even though I didn't know what they were saying, you could just hear sense in how and in the delivery and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's sign up here until I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna sign up here, and then if when I'm ready, I'll go to America, just to get me started because I still had things to sort out over here before I left, and didn't look back, bro.
Yeah,
Didn't look
cool.
back. I just like the coaches. It's 100% who they are as well. I wish they would allow themselves to be filmed because they are such amazing, interesting characters. They're a great team. They've been friends since kids, and you can see their closeness, and it works perfectly. They're very well respected. They're the first gym in the MMA gym in the UK to get going, actually teaching mixed martial arts. They've dedicated their whole life since they were like 14, 15, 16 to just doing martial arts, and they just know so much about combat, and they're obsessed. But they truly look out for, like, my dad met my coach once, and straight after I didn't even know what was said. He came back and was like, "You're in the right hands." So I don't know what was said to him. I don't know what was said to him. He was like, "Yeah." And again, remember, it's not just a coach passing on something. It's passing on your child to somebody else. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
And as much as my dad knew I had the capability of doing mixed martial arts, he didn't want me to do it because he's kind of still like, man, it's rough sport, man. Like, he's always like, "You really want to do it?" So for him to be like, "Nah, you're good here," and never needed to check in. Like, he genuinely was like, "Cool, I'm happy here," and it wasn't like, "Oh, what's going on?" Just obviously we'd catch up, and I'll just tell him how it's going, and he's like, "Yeah, cool."
I bet that gives you mad confidence.
That gave me a lot of confidence, to be fair. But I kind of already knew that it was gonna go that way because how my coach is. He's great. So I'm so happy to be where I am and have the coach that I have.
Yeah. What advice do you think you'd give to an 18-year-old Michael Venom Page with everything you know now?
Take more charge of my career choices, because it'll be little things. It's only like be more demanding of what you want and take more charge of your career choices. Because only later on when I realized that, regardless of everyone's good intentions, they're still not going. No one's going to want your best interests as much as you. You can bring in as many managers, you can bring in as many PR people, you have to just go out and do it. And it's only I'd say the last 4 years that I was like a bit more pushy. Maybe even last 3 years I was a bit more pushy about what I wanted and a bit more demanding about what I want, and actually going for it. And then more things was happening. And everyone always talks the talk, don't worry, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and it always seems to fall short, or they struggle to get it over the line, and it's because no one wants it as much as you do. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, a lot of people have other commitments, personal or even in business, especially management. They got other people they need to look after, and even when you got the best team, and I think I got a great team in management, still no one wants it as much as you. So you have to kind of be a bit bullish about what you want and go and get it.
Very cool. Bit of a deep one. Are you afraid of death?
If I was to be realistic, yeah, but then there's moments where afraid of death as in like
Afraid of dying.
afraid of dying as in leaving people behind. So yeah, in that sense, yeah. But then at the same time, I'm that guy in those moments where scary moments. I'm the first to go and do it. I haven't even told. I don't think I've spoken about this on camera. Like, I got this kind of. So basically, when I was in Tobago, it was my for my brother's wedding. We was out in Tobago. He got married over there. This was a couple of years ago. This guy's everywhere. For someone that walks like that, I don't know how he's everywhere. So.
Dude, that's jacked.
Yeah, he's not though. Don't be fooled.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled. But yeah, so for someone, so wedding, Tobago. We was down by the beach. There's a little cafe called Waves, and we realized why the cafe is called Waves, because the current there was ridiculously strong. Like I was in at I'd say my shins. The water's in at my shins, and it's pulling me in. So we said to the kids, like, none of the kids can even touch the water. Like, we don't even, like, it was only the adults that could go and swim. And even then, we're like, make sure you're careful and make sure you're paying attention to each other, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we're having an amazing day. We come back up to the restaurant bit and just getting cleaned up and drying ourselves and getting changed and stuff. And one of the waiters were like, is your party all here? And we're like, looking around like, yeah. He's like, we're like, why? He's like, because I feel someone is floating out there. But the way he said, so I can't stand about Caribbean sometimes. He came over so relaxed.
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel someone's floating out there. So we looked over and we could see something, what it looked like somebody was out there. So immediately everyone's like, what? So I've just like whipped off my shirt and just ran out. I swear to you, I nearly died trying to get to him, yeah, because the current is so mad. Like it was so difficult to get to him. I'm swimming, and every time I'm swimming further out, it felt like I was getting pulled back, and it's kind of like the water was kind of pulling me down and back. Like it was horrible. Luckily, somebody else, like a local, had swum out as well. So literally, as I got to the body, somebody else got there. It was somebody. He was face down. I flipped his body up, so his face was out the water. The other guy was pulling him to shore, and I was trying to keep his head up, so I had to be underwater, trying to keep his head up and then come up and then go back down. It was, when I say the most difficult, I don't even know how to even explain that. It was, like I said, there's one point even going out, I didn't think I was going to make it. On the way back, I think it's only because I was more worried about him, I didn't even realise that. I think there's one time when I tried to come up for water, the wave hit, so I was like, I had to go again, like, finally got him to shore. One of the guys, there's a guy that said he was a fireman or something, like he started doing chest compressions and breathing, blah blah, and he was taking turns doing chest compressions. But again, and I've done so many first aid training sessions for when I was doing the kickboxing and stuff, but there is nothing like actually having to do it. And I'm going and I'm hearing his chest crack, and I'm like, fuck, like, and they tell you all this stuff, and it's not like I didn't know that these things could happen. Yeah. But when you feel it under your hand, you're like, you have to keep going. And unfortunately, the guy didn't make it. By the time the ambulance came and stuff, we obviously helped to get the body in. And then the locals were telling us he was an older guy. Yeah, they said he was like in his 70s or something. But they were surprised because they say he's there every single day. He swims. He always said he washes off his skin in the water and then swims every single day. And he goes out and comes back. So he's a competent swimmer. So they say that he must have had a heart attack or something while out there. So there was nothing we really could have done in that moment. And like I said, it took ages for the ambulance to come as well. But yeah, it's in those moments that are scary. I'll still be the first to just make a move, and I've noticed that in multiple scenarios. So in terms of scared to death in those moments, like, and even my brothers and all of them, they were kind of like, they were frozen, like they didn't know what to do, and they were like, they were like, I don't think I would have made it out there. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of being scared of death, 100% yes, but for different reasons. But in terms of being in the face of a situation where you could potentially do it, I'll still do it if I feel it's necessary. I'm that guy that will run into a building if I need to help someone and but yeah. So yeah, yes and no.
That was a cool answer, man. That's crazy, mate.
Yeah, man, it was.
What did that do to your mindset?
I was out for a second, man. Like as in like afterwards, because we were all going back to the villa because it's in the evening now. And the thing is, it's weird because if we didn't, so somebody like, so imagine we're on the beach, but there's like a house up there.
Yeah.
So they were the first person to spot the guy, and they screamed down to somebody there. Then that person ran up to the restaurant. Then that restaurant guy ran to us. But literally, us probably about, I don't know, let's say all of that, however long that took. Once we got him to the shore, 15 minutes later, it was dark. So if nobody spotted him, you wouldn't have seen him until he got washed up the next day, and he would have looked completely different. So obviously, luckily, the family up there said something. But yeah, man, when afterwards I was just like, I was a bit out of it, kind of like, man, just felt sorry for him because the whole time, especially when we were doing the compressions, I'm just expecting that movie, that typical movie moment when they like all the water comes out and it just didn't happen. Like so, it was just it messed up a lot. Even like I felt bad because my younger brother and younger sister was there, and so I felt bad for him, but so I was kind of more cautious about them. They were crying and stuff, a bit upset. I just had to kind of walk home. Like they were driving. I said like, let me walk. Let me just clear my head a little bit. Walk home. And I got back, and then I was just more focused on my little brother and sister. And it's funny because that's how I know my little brother so well. He's very competitive. So we were supposed to go surfing the next day. And
on the same beach?
Nah, it was a different beach. And he was like, I'm not going in the water. I'm not doing it. And nobody could tell. Like once it's stuck in something, like my brother's stubborn like that. It's kind of a trait that's in a lot of us. But no one can tell him otherwise. So they're not all trying to like, because the thing is, the reason I wanted to encourage him to do it is because I don't want his last impression of being in the sea just being that, and it just messing him up for forever, kind of like not wanting to be in the sea. So, like I said, my brother's very competitive. He's a younger brother. He's 14 now, and I was like, everyone's trying to encourage him, and I was like, nah, it's all right. The only reason he doesn't want to do it is because he knows I'm going to be better than him. And he went, but I've surfed before. I was like, yeah. I was like, you're just scared that I'm going to be better than you. He's like, what? All right then. Like, he couldn't, literally the next day, we couldn't get him out the water. The next day, he's like, can I, because when he had a certain amount of time, and you spend that with the coach. It's the first time I surfed as well. So he's have a certain amount of time out with the coach, and then afterwards the coach is like, you can stay with the boards if you want to, and then we'll just watch it, and when you want to get back. So he's like, can I stay out? I was knackered, I'm not gonna lie. Surfing's hard. He's like, can I stay out? I was like, cool, I'll just make sure I'm watching you. Just make sure you don't go out too far, blah, blah, blah. And the waters were cooler there anyway. And, but seriously, he was for hours. I had to tell him, like, Jaden, we need food now. Like, we need to go and eat. And he's like, all right. I remember yesterday. Yeah. Get your ass back in there. No, but he came. But I'm glad that he finished on that note. Good, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, man. Again, you just got to know people sometimes. Like, he's from a very young age. He's always been competitive. So I just knew exactly how to get in his head, man. But I'm glad, like he didn't leave a scar. Obviously, it's a traumatizing experience for anybody. Yeah. Even if he wasn't necessarily in it, they just kind of saw it happen. So I'm just glad that he finished on a positive.
Yeah. Unless you're the same one I asked you earlier, just because it's the environment.
Oh yeah.
But so you get to pick 3 MMA fighters.
Yeah.
With you to help you in a zombie apocalypse. Which 3 are you taking?
So,
and why as well?
Yeah. So I said it before. Conor McGregor, I'm taking. This is gonna sound very bad. I'm taking him to be the distraction because he talks a lot. He's very loud, and I think he'll draw zombies towards him. Look, let's say in my story he's agile enough to make it back to us, don't worry. But he's that guy. It's like there's a load of zombies here. We need to get over there. Alright, make some noise, bro. We're going that way. Draw them to you, and then you can circle back whenever you make it back to us. So that's the reason why for him. We'll also do Francis Ngannou. You're gonna need some muscle there, man. You need to move some debris, to push a car out the way. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Like Ngannou, that's you. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, everyone just has their role. You know, like if as a tall person, I know if I go into a supermarket, someone needs something off the top shelf, that's me. It's just me. I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna help you with that. So I get it. He's the guy that moves stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously he can probably smash a few zombies as well. So clear a little pathway if we need to get out of somewhere. So yeah, him. And then you need someone with like that knows his weapons, his arsenal. So there's a couple of guys. But Royce Gracie, I've seen him non-stop with like, he's got so many guns and weapons. He hunts, so you know he's a good shot. Who else was it that does it? Kong Lee. I think he does shooting training. I know. Then again, John Jones as well does shooting training, but I haven't seen loads of it. But yeah, Royce Gracie, I've just seen him. He's even showing me on his phone. It's like all of these different things. So it'd probably be Gracie.
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
It's a good collection, that.
Yeah.